I want to sell courses. What software do I use? That's probably the biggest question that I get when it comes to starting, building, growing education business. Everyone's thinking about, I got to have courses. What plugin should I use? Should I use WordPress or is there some other tool I should use? What the heck do I use and how do I get started? Well, hopefully what you'll be able to do after this is just open your eyes a little bit as to some of the options that you have when it comes to treating your education business like a business more so than courses, and then also give you the flexibility to think about, how am I going to be able to take advantage of AI and leverage AI in my business if things are changing so quickly. So I'll go through this. I have my mind map open. This is a completely ad hoc session just because I've been asked a couple times today about it. And I just kind of wanted to show you what my stack of tools is, why I recommend it, and then some of the other options that you have. And again, if you haven't been here before, my name is James. It's trainingsites.io. Like and subscribe to the channel, all that stuff you're supposed to do. And of course, join my privately branded community at Training Sites. The link is right there below. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of open up my map so we can take a look at it. And I'll kind of put this in perspective in terms of where it fits in a business. I do have a campus map, which is a 10-step process that people will always go through the 10 steps. They may not be in the order that I put them, but these are all decisions and choices and parts of having an education business that will happen at some point or another. And I'll show you where this one fits in because it's one that people start early, which isn't what I recommend, but hey, that's life. This is the way that it actually goes. So let's take a look at this and see how it fits in. And again, this is my perspective on it. Are there 100 different ways to do this or 1,000 different ways? Yes. This is after the last 20 years, 25 years doing courses and membership sites and subscriptions and all that kind of place. So, and again, I look at this from the perspective of an AI learning campus. It's not just a community, it's a place where you can actually go and learn or be educated, have educational experiences right within the community. So I look at it as three key steps. One is building out your community library. So that's your privately branded space and your content within it, which is the first part. The second one is where you monetize by having classes or educational experiences, more so than just here's my content in the form of a course. And then finally, the campus is about building it out and having it as a sustainable business. And the first two steps are like, start creating content as fast as you can, as much as you can, and then you want to put it into some kind of community or place where you can store your body of knowledge or curate and organize it as it relates to your particular topic. And the big issue here is that, that community library of basically putting that together, there's a whole bunch of different choices there. And that's the part I kind of really want to think through here. And the big one, I'm going to go through these on another screen, but the big one is that you've got to pick some kind of platform to have your community in. And there's really, in my opinion, two kinds of choices. One is that you're going to do a self-hosted solution on WordPress, or you're going to use a software as a service, which is a third-party application that has been built that allows you to basically host your platform. Now, the thing is that those are the two options, right? But it doesn't mean you can't blend them together. You may have, part of your community is in WordPress, and you may use these additional kind of platforms and try and connect them together. So, in as much as I talk about self-hosted and then software as a service, there's examples in between. And there's actually a framework that I put together called Campus. It is how to pick the right one for you. But I just want to show you the ones that I use and explain why I'm using them. And I think the cool thing is when you're doing all of this and you're trying to think like, where does it fit in? Why do I need to worry about this? Here's kind of the big picture is that you're going to end up having a stack of tools for your platform or things that are going to happen in your platform over and above just having a place for some course content. So this is one of my kind of maps that I play around with, and these are all the different things that are super, super important that you're going to have to answer or think about, again, when you're building out an education business. So I'll just go through them quickly. And the ones that I recommend is, if you're going to do it self-hosted, use WordPress. If you're going to use it as a software as a service, use circle.so. And actually, you'll see that these look very similar because I think they're creatively plagiarized or put together. The WordPress one and the Circle one, they're very, very similar. They look the same. One's just hosted at a third-party service. One of them is one that's running on your own hosting account on WordPress. So there's Notion is another one there. I've seen some people build a community on Notion. And again, that's another option. And then there's ones that are others. And again, these are some other titles. And these are things that we cover in the trainingsites.io campus blueprint. There are other ones. There's ones like Kajabi, for example, or Go High Level, which have all of these pieces as part of it. Some of them are just separate pieces of it that you have to end up combining together with WordPress or tools like Circle. Some of them are kind of standalone, but limited in some of the features or functions that you need. And again, this is my opinion here. These are the ones that you usually will have to run into or end up doing at some point. And again, this is about my community library, the classes, and the campus. Those are the three core pieces that I focus on, and I find that everyone ends up doing. Again, if you're having an education business, not just a place to sell courses. So we've got the community as the first part, and the community, of course, is this place where you can have a network of people in shared spaces or private spaces, being able to share their experiences and be able to network with each other. Now, that's obviously a simplified description, but these are really, really important moving forward, because if you have a topic that is something that other people are interested in, there's this feeling, I think, now with all of the overwhelm with AI content, that people will really need to connect with people, not only from a technical perspective, but also from a supportive, emotional perspective, knowing that there's other people that are there to help and someone that they can talk to when they are having issues, which kind of went away with all of the stuff with e-learning, e-learning, e-learning. You have to do e-learning. No, I think that community and then networking and interaction is really important. And a community platform that supports that, where you can have your own directory of members, you can have shared spaces, you can have courses within your community, which is something I'll talk about in a second. Those are kind of big pieces. And this is part of your content repository, right? That user generated content. The next thing that you will use or have to have some point is a CRM, or contact relationship management software, or plugin. And of course, what this is it does a whole bunch of different things for you. One of them is it keeps your customer list, whether they be a potential customer, an existing customer, a member, not a member. This is your business gold, where all of your contacts live. You're going to have some kind of software or place for those where you can manage them. And when I say CRM, many of the CRMs, not all of them, but many of them, and what I recommend is that they do have the ability to do email marketing, messaging, automations, and be integrated with the other tools. And we'll get to that in a second. And also the community software. I didn't put e-learning or learning management software plugins. These can be separate, but in my opinion, if you are doing basic educational content where you want to organize lessons or tutorials in a logical, structured format with additional resources that are associated with it, the community software that you have should have some basic kind of course platform integrated into it. Now, some of them are standalone ones. For example, there's Teachable, Thinkific, as softwares as a service, or you have plugins like LearnDash, or Lifter LMS, or Tutor LMS on the WordPress side, which could be an extra plugin. In my case, I recommend using Fluent Community, which has it built in, a simple one. Now, Fluent Community is the one I'll talk about in some of the other videos that I do. That is not a sophisticated LMS. It is good enough for most people to be able to follow that structured learning or structured path that you may want as the instructor slash teacher when you're creating all of this additional ad hoc supportive content to support your live classes. So we've got community and some kind of CRM that's there, or pardon me, community in some way to have your courses organized if you're going to do any kind of traditional courses. Secondly, you need some kind of CRM that is there to keep track of your contents or your clients, your customers, what they're doing, that kind of thing, what they've done in the past. You're also going to need some kind of support software slash plugin so that if there are issues in your community or in your CRM or in your courses, that there's the ability for you to be able to manage those issues in a structured way. And I can tell you from experience, the number one issue with any kind of community slash courses slash membership site is usernames, passwords, and login credentials with access to appropriate areas. And if you don't have any support set up within your learning community and you're doing stuff just by email, you're going to run into some serious problems. So support is the ability to do tickets or FAQs or knowledge uh, templated responses, or the ability to keep track of what's going on with the questions that people have that are either technical or billing, that kind of thing. You're going to run into that again if you're treating it as a business. The other one that I recommend here is projects. Now, projects, again, another tool for business. There's ones that are hosted with you on WordPress. I'll share that one with you. There are third-party ones that you can actually use. But if you're treating any kind of community as a business, it's been my experience that just focusing on a revenue stream from a community tends to be very limiting and short-sighted, because if you have a successful community or campus, you're going to have all sorts of additional opportunities to monetize the work that you're doing, not only with people in the community, but people that want services external to the community. And for you to be able to manage them, you need some kind of tool like a project management tool. And again, that can be stuff that you use internally just to manage your marketing, manage the growth, or how you're actually doing stuff in your community, manage internal projects. And it can also be customer facing if you are doing personal coaching, or if you do have projects or additional services that you've productized and you make available as part of the community. So it's a good idea to have some way to manage these products, and especially if you have more than one person. If you have a business that has either contractors or VAs or other people that are working with you, having a shared space to work together on something instead of a mishmash of emails back and forth, or even other tools like Slack, for example, which can get often a little bit messy, in my opinion. Important thing to have that project area in your privately branded campus. The other one is bookings. Same thing. I think you may have heard of Calendly, for example, which is a third-party service. That's one where it allows your user to basically book time or slots or register for time, whether they be free or paid, but being able to keep track of, hey, I got some shared time here. You want to pay for my time? Or, hey, we have some kind of thing that we're doing and we need a scheduling piece of it. So being able to handle bookings is something that I highly, highly, highly recommend, especially in educational spaces, because there are going to be people that are going to reach out and need a little way, structured way for not only themselves, but for you, because you got limited time and you want to be able to manage that in a way that supports both the clients and with you. Payments. You're going to have some way to take payments. Now, I'm not talking just about being able to collect money with a payment gateway. I'm talking about having some kind of shopping cart that allows you to take payments and also organize access to community resources and or additional services external of the community. So you need a way to take the payments and actually have a cart that is more than just the community cart. So for example, if you have coaching programs that you do, or you have a physical product or a service that you have external to the community, having a way to take payments and a cart is a mandatory. You don't want to end up with one shopping cart for one area and one way to take payments here, and then another different service that you have in another kind of shopping cart. Because often what happens, of course, is someone starts in your community and then you get them to sign up somewhere here and then they want another service. And it's like, oh, no, 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 no. You have to go sign up here. It's another credit card filled in. It's a different registration email address. You just end up having a whole bunch of problems when they're not able to do all of the shopping slash purchasing slash services that you actually have in your business. Now, I know in a couple cases on a number of the videos, I actually have a video on like revenue streams, and I think I identified 13 different revenue streams or categories of revenue streams that people should consider when they're having an education business. If you had one revenue stream and you had a shopping cart or a way to pay that was individual on each of those, can you imagine the nightmare that you would actually be having to do or handle or go through if you are trying to run it as a business? So having some kind of cart slash payments, absolutely mandatory. Affiliates. Affiliates is one of those ones that a lot of people don't think about, but affiliate programs are the ability to set up a referral network and have that integrated into your privately branded campus, a potential gold mine. And again, it doesn't really matter if you're doing some kind of closed community or closed campus. It's a really, really good way to help incentivize or monetize the activities or actions within the community, whether that be for giving extra time, gamification, being able to give credits, that kind of thing, or even getting people to ask their friends to join and really grow the community. So, an affiliate package or program is something that you need to definitely have. Utilities, events, and documents. Now, events, I'm just going to move that one up, and documents. I having events and live classes and registrations and time slots. I think this is underutilized because of all of the e-learning and stuff about courses that happened in the past. I'm betting that 2026 is going to be a gold mine for people doing live trainings, live classes, live implementation and work sessions. Having some kind of system that you have in your campus to make sure that you can schedule those, have people register in them, and be able to organize everything around these training sessions, absolute gold. So you want to make sure that your campus has a way to handle that that is easy to use for the people that are within the community, and easy for you to organize and be able to show and integrate with the other pieces. Document libraries. There is, I did a video actually, I think 2 weeks ago about, I think there's something like 1 billion chats that happen every single day. And it was about creating and capturing your digital exhaust. Having some kind of knowledge base as part of your community library, you need to have some way to organize it, curate it, and put it in a way that is available, I'll tell you why in a minute, to the people in your community. And then finally, utilities are stuff that you're going to need in your campus. And some of them are things like being able to have media storage, being able to deliver videos. You need to be able to have your email delivered responsibly. You're going to have security and access available to your community. Registration utilities, there's all sorts of stuff here. And there's this one called AI Engine. And I'm going to explain why all of this is so important. Let me just do this one here. Just think about this for a second. Actually, let's go back. I just want to go back and look at this for a second. So if you are looking at this from a business perspective and you're picking or growing out your campus and you're trying to figure out what should I do or what's the best way to do this, you can definitely use a software as a service. The one that I recommend is circle.so. And Circle is a really great tool, and it does many of those things. The ones that we just went through, it does many of them, but not necessarily all of them. So that's one example. You may go, hey, I have my courses in Thinkific or Teachable, and they're great for courses. And you may go, I have my email marketing and my CRM in ActiveCampaign. That's a great service. I have it there. I have my WordPress site in WordPress, and I have my community plugin whether it be Buddy Boss or some other tool. So I have my community here. I have my email and marketing and automations here. I have, my some of the other my Teachable stuff here for the lessons. And then you may go, man, great, I need a help desk now. So I may have a help desk service. So there's a whole bunch of ways that these can be connected together. So some of the ones are trying to be everything in that stack. Go High Level, Kajabi, Circle.so. They can all have some of those pieces. Sometimes you have to plug something in, sometimes you don't. Now, the big issue here, again, in my opinion, is all of those systems work. But what is missing from a lot of them, and I'm going to move this over here so we can kind of actually see it. This is what I think the big part is that we really have to kind of put in. And I'm just going to put this floating topic here. We'll make it a little bit bigger here so you can see it. But here's the issue that I think is really important now. You've got to have a way that AI can access the content that is in your campus. I think that this whole idea of your kind of, I don't want to call it a moat necessarily, but your private library, that community library that you're building, user-generated content, AI-generated content, everything that happens in there, 2026, you're going to have access available to it. What happens when avatars are available and they're working off your data set? How are you going to share that information? What about if you're doing things like chatbots that are running off of your particular content? What about if you're doing any of these AI automations that are about and these web apps that everyone is so excited about and these agents? What data are they pulling from? So you have to make sure that if you're looking at this for the long term, 2026, how am I going to give access to AI on it? That's the first thing. The second thing is, and I'll just put another one here. I think I can have a second floating topic. And these are all the things that we cover in the campus map on how to do this, but it's integration. And this is the other key point I think everyone forgets. The reason that I have the stack that I use, which I'm just going to go through here, is that I personally want to have everything that I can tightly integrated in one space. Because if you don't have that integration put together, and again, these maps are all available in trainingsites.io/join if you haven't already. Integration, I think I got that spelt incorrectly, so we'll do it there. So being able to say, okay, if I have my CRM contacts and my email marketing automations, I have that in one place. How do I get people into the community? If I send an email, where do they go? Do they go to the shopping cart, which is a different service? And how do I get the shopping cart to say to the community that, hey, register this person in the community so that they can log in? And if I have uh, my courses in another plugin, how do I make sure that when they buy something, they get added in the CRM, they get then put into the email marketing series, and then they get access to the right course? So being able to tie all these moving pieces together is something that is going to happen. If you're just thinking, oh, great, I want to sell courses and have a community, there is always more to do if you're actually going to treat it like a business and you've got more than 10 people or 15 people. So if you actually want to treat it like a campus, like a business, remember you've got a whole bunch of integrations that you have to take care of. And then you also have to make sure that the content that you have moving forward is AI ready. Think of it that way. How is your content, your campus, your community AI ready? So this is the stack of tools that I use, and these are the ones that I recommend, and these are the ones that I've used to build trainingsites.io. And again, this is a kind of training that we do going over it, and this is just a very, very high-level view of the stack of tools that I have available. So first one that I use, Fluent Community. It's on WordPress, and Fluent Community has all of the community features and functions that I need, and it also has a basic LMS or courses. And I'll do some demos of these individual later, but community and courses, it's taken care of in Fluent Community. All of the networking with each other, the messaging, those shared spaces, discussion groups, all of that stuff is there and available, okay? Fluent Cart. Fluent Cart is, I'm on the beta right now. It'll be available, I believe, in the next 10 days. When that finally comes out, WooCommerce is another example. I'm using Fluent Cart because it's part of the stack here. But Fluent Cart runs, and the way that this is set up is that Fluent Cart can actually run as part of another application. It's called Headless. So it can run as part of an application, but I have it here, and Fluent Cart does any kind of purchase, whether it be physical or digital, any kind of structure of payments, and there's all sorts of different ways to take payments in terms of the billing or the merchant processor. So we've got community, we've got Fluent Cart, we've got Fluent Affiliates, which is integrated with the payments. We have Fluent Boards, which is there. We've got Fluent Bookings, which does all of the calendar stuff. We have Fluent Support, which does all of the help desk stuff. Fluent Boards is project management, by the way. Fluent SMT makes sure that the email gets delivered. It's a WordPress site. And then what's here? The part that's here, and I haven't put it in, I'll do it right now. I'm going to do a new floating topic. There's Fluent CRM. See, the part that's neat here is that when you have Fluent CRM, just delete that one. Fluent CRM is your contact management software. Now, what's the cool thing that would be really, really cool if you had a CRM that was connected to the community, that was connected to the cart, that was connected to the affiliates, that was connected to the projects, whether they be customer facing or internal, whether it's connected to the calendar items and the bookings and the events, it's connected to the support desk. And in our case, we've added a couple little pieces here. Because it's WordPress, we've got a Cadence theme, which is a standard WordPress theme. We've got Better Docs for our document library, and we've got the event calendar if you want to actually do integrated events. Now, because Fluent Community runs on WordPress, all of these different tools are automatically connected between each other. This is an absolute, I think, must moving forward in terms of the time, energy, and effort you have to put in if you're running your own community. So think about the big picture when you're doing this. Do I want to connect some pieces together because one is really good at this and one is really good at that? Or do I want to have a stack of tools that I know are highly integrated? And in our case, because it's on WordPress and these tools are public tools, we actually have access to tools like Claude to work on these externally. So we can work on it externally with AI tools, and it's in our database so that we can give access to all of our data to any of the external tools that we need to. And that's some of the stuff I'll cover in another video. So that stack of tools, that Fluent Community stack of tools, is the one that I recommend. Is it the only way to do it? No, of course not. There's all sorts of different ways to do it, but you've got to just remember at some point in the future, you are going to have to put all of those pieces together to have your library of community, platform, and content. You're going to have a place for classes and engagement and be able to take payments, to have people pay for your time, your energy, your expertise. And you want to make sure that it's treated like a business and a campus. So if this makes sense to you, make sure to get into our community and campus, ask some questions. And this isn't the only way to do it. There's all sorts of different ways to do it. But just remember, those pieces are coming. They're not going to disappear. There's stuff that happens, and if you are serious about it, certainly make sure that you plan for it, and especially the AI part and the integration with everything together, which is coming faster than I think we really realize. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have questions, I'm going to put this in the campus. You can watch the video. The map will be there. Just get in and ask some questions or put some comments below, and I'll make the links available as well. So hopefully this was helpful to you. My name is James, trainingsites.io. Like and subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Put some comments in. Apparently that works quite well for getting some more traffic or feedback on it. And we'll back again with another video to help you start, build, and grow your education business. Take care. Expect the best.